It is such a joy to be here, and I first want to thank all of the wonderful people who have done so much here in the last year and in the years before. The volunteers, all of those who are greeters and ushers and work in the garden, and those who are staff, and those who do all kinds of various ministries here, the prayer chaplains, and the people who work in the gardens, and the people who do custodial care, and all of the board. What a wonderful board you have. Yeah. And I really, really want to thank Reverend Medora for all of your work. For all that you've done. And if we could all just extend our hands to Reverend Medora and repeat after me. Repeat after me. We bless you. We thank you for your work. Your dedication. Your commitment. And your calling. We love you. We appreciate you. We behold the Christ as you. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, Reverend Medora. Yeah. I've received such a wonderful welcome since I have come here. I came and there was a sign by our front door, and there was a big basket of goodies, and various kinds of food has come by, and even had a loaner car. Thank you. And we have had so much welcome and help, and this is such an amazing, wonderful community. And I am so thrilled to be able to go online and tell people that this is an amazing, loving, inclusive community that is for all of us, wherever you are from, whatever your walk of life is, whether you are Muslim, Buddhist, Jew, Hindu, atheist, agnostic, not sure what category you fit into. Wherever you come from, whatever your ethnicity, sexual orientation, you are at home. Thank you for being here. Because this is about all of us. I am on a team with Unity Worldwide Ministries called Focusing Forward 2030, where we placed ourselves in the year 2030 and then backcast to the year, at that time, 2018, to see what is it that we did in the year 2018 that helped us to be ready for where we now are in the year 2030. It's called backcasting. And so we've been a part of researching, talking with futurists, talking with church experts, talking about different trends in churches. And one thing has come abundantly clear to me is that if people are not adaptable and willing to shift and change and shift our paradigm, the church may go extinct. Now, there's a reason why the church exists. It exists so that we can connect, so that we can grow, so that we can serve. It's about spiritual transformation, experiencing our authentic selves, authenticity, moving into an awakened life. That's what our mission here is to embrace each person, to raise us each up into an awakened life. But to do that, we need to continue to flex with the times. While we were in Honolulu, and I want to give a shout out to all of our wonderful Hawaii people that are watching, because there's a number of them, we went to Pearl Harbor. How many people here have ever been to Pearl Harbor? Quite a few. Wow. It was a very sobering experience to me. In fact, tearful experience. As I saw all of the people who gave their lives and who had been attacked by surprise and saw all of the mistakes that led up to that attack. The fact that the attack planes showed up on the radar. And the people who were watching the radar were told, oh, dismiss that. That's our own guys. Because they were stuck in a particular paradigm. They did not believe that there could be an air fleet that could come and attack them. So they didn't believe what the radar said. They did not believe the signs. And then the general who was in charge liked to park the planes in the center of the airfield, all in one cluster with wingtip touching wingtip, all together. Again, not realizing that made it a perfect airstrike target. Time after time, there was a mistake made because they were not willing to shift the paradigm. They were not willing to see things from a different perspective. And we learned, tragically, from that things shift, things change, and we need to look at things differently. The same is true in church. Many of us like to see the sage on the stage. And I'm very excited to be here, and I'm very excited about the mission of doing a number of things here. I want to see our love streaming to increase to many, many different recipients. I want to see our finances continue to rise as we experience the abundance that we know is always here. I want to see people grow even deeper in numerous classes and spiritual activities. I would like to see a Spanish ministry started here. I would like to see our youth program grow even more. And I would like to see our school rise up into even greater and greater manifestation. And thank you, Cindy and Sarah, and all of you who are involved with that. But it's not about one person. I know, right? It's like, wait a minute, we've been working hard all this time. We're ready for a break. We called you, and now we can rest. What's this about? We thought we could just sort of take it easy for a while. But it's about all of us together. And that's why the title for my talk is From Me to We. It's not about just one person or two people or the staff or the board. It's about all of us working together. Otherwise, this doesn't work. So I'd like to share now, okay, how many people here are Bible phobic? Would you be willing to raise your hand? I just want to see my audience. And there's nothing wrong with being Bible phobic. Thank you. And I saw a number of wonderful spiritual beings raising their hands, and thank you for your authenticity. That's what we're called to. I'd like to encourage you to not throw out the Bible yet. There are so many great spiritual principles there. And as you will find with time, if you're coming back and wondering, oh, is this a Bible thumper? And I am a bit Unicostal. I told people that. Right? You know what Unicostals are? Okay, anyway. So I can get pretty excited. A unity excited person, okay, Unicostal. So, don't toss the Bible out yet, but I want you to know that I also draw from world traditions. You know, I will quote from the Quran. I will quote from the Bhagavad Gita, which is one of my favorites. I will quote from the Srimad Bhagavatam. I will quote from Buddha. I will quote from a lot of things. But today we're going to look at some scriptures from the Christian scriptures because I believe they really speak to this whole concept of me to we. So first we're going to look at Ephesians chapter 4. Ephesians chapter 4, starting at verse 11. And he himself gave some to be apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers. Now let's see what they're here for, okay? This is what their job description is. For the equipping of the saints. Now you may be wondering, who's that? The Greek word is hagios. It means all of you. It's all of you. All of us are saints. Now you might say, I'm no saint. Yeah, I get it. But we are all that presence of God. We are all, because there's only one power and only one presence, and that means each and every one of us are that expression, that outliving of that presence. So each and every one of you are the expression of that presence. You can't help it. You are the presence of God in action. You are one of these called out ones, the ecclesia. That's the Greek word for the called out ones, the church. For the equipping of the saints. And what are we supposed to equip the saints to do? For the work of ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ, this body, till we all come to the unity of faith and the knowledge of the Son of God, to a perfect man, to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. Now, before you think that, I know this might be triggering some of you if you come from a fundamentalist background. So I want you to look at this metaphysically. Till we all come to the unity of the faith and the knowledge of the Son of God. What is the knowledge of the Son of God? It's the knowledge that each and every one of us are the outlivingness of that presence. Each one of us knowing our own Christness. Each one of us knowing our own presence of God in action. Each one of us knowing to perfection the measure of the stature of the fullness of that Christ presence living forth as us. Now, I was with my, now Olga Lucia is my best friend, and I have a best friend who is my golfing buddy, my close friend, and he and I were driving through Kansas and out to Colorado, and we stopped at this huge cathedral in Victoria, Kansas, called the Cathedral of the Plains. And it was being operated by the Capuchin monks, Franciscan monks with the brown robes and the long hood in the back. Those are the Capuchin monks. And so my friend, being Catholic, said to this monk, "This is a holy place." And without any hesitation, the monk said, "It could be." And we stopped and thought about that, and thought about how astute that was, that it's up to the people as to whether that is a holy place or not. We had another very close friend who I'm connected with a Benedictine monastery. One of my affiliations is I'm a Benedictine. And so this Benedictine monastery, I was talking to our good friend, Brother Jeremiah, who recently made his transition. And I asked Brother Jeremiah, what is the hardest thing about being a monk? And without any hesitation, he said, other monks. It's up to us what we create here. It can be a holy place. It can be a place of great awakening and a great enlightenment. It can be a place of that if we each bring our own gifts, our own Christness to this. So I'd like to share this next verse with you from 1 Corinthians chapter 12. Okay, 1 Corinthians chapter 12. But now indeed there are many members, yet one body. And the eye cannot say to the hand, I have no need of you, nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of you. No, much rather, those members of the body which seem to be weaker are necessary. And if we could just skip to the next slide, please. Is there another slide? Yeah. And let's skip down to verse 25, that there should be no schism in the body, no division, but that the members should have the same care for one another. And if one member suffers, all the members suffer with it. Or if one member is honored, all the members rejoice with it. Each one of you brings an important gift with you. Every single one of you. You have something that benefits each and every one of us. We need you. We need you. Whatever your gift is, whether it's music, singing, I can hear it now. Whether it's working with youth, whether it's being hospitable and welcoming people, helping people to connect that are new, whether it is being a licensed Unity teacher, whether it is leadership, whether it is gardening, whatever it is, we need you. We really do. Now, I was talking earlier about how I had come into that church, and I was slumped back in the seat, and I was hoping no one would see me. Like, oh my goodness, I'm in a church. And it's just who I am. I started getting involved, and one of the areas in which I got involved was in the prayer ministry. And I prayed and prayed about, oh, do I become a prayer chaplain? Oh, man. I've done so much work in churches. Do I really want to do this? I couldn't help it. I was called to it. I was drawn to it. And the way you find these things out is by trying it. You try something out. And it's very important to me that people know that they can try something out and that there's no bad karma or no punishment if you see, oh, this isn't for me. To try something out, to test the waters. And anyway, so I was testing the waters, and eventually I became one of the prayer chaplains, and eventually the minister wanted me to stand beside her every Sunday to catch the people who wanted prayer. And eventually people started thinking I was the associate minister. I was so involved, I started giving lessons and meditation and doing the prayer chaplain thing. And the minister called me into her office one day, and I was sort of nervous. It's like, what's she going to talk to me about? And she said, a lot of people here think you're the associate minister. Do you want to be? I had to pray about that one. And so I then became the associate minister at Unity of Wichita. And she didn't tell me. About 4 months later, she retired. That was a setup. All right, so now I'm not saying that if you volunteer that you're going to end up being the pastor of a church. But what I'm saying is that volunteering is a way that you connect with others. It is a way that you begin to grow even more spiritually. Here's the weird part. When you volunteer, when you get involved, when you bring your gifts forth, it actually helps you to grow. Now, you love streamers. You may be wondering, well, how do I do that? Well, you could get involved in a community, a spiritual community right where you are. Or I hope that you continue to watch us. Feel free to donate. And I hope that we can begin to establish even a virtual church and community around the world. So, all of us can be involved. This is about not just me, it's about we, all of us together, working together, bringing our gifts. Now, I have an illustration to show this point, okay? So I'd like us, I know that this is not like usual, is it? Okay, so I'd like us all to stand, and I would like some of these people who will be coming front and center, yeah, all of us just gather together, and even into the center aisle, just everyone, gather into the center aisle, shoulder to shoulder, shoulder to shoulder. Come forward. And shoulder to shoulder. And I am going to fall backwards. Now, we're on TV. It's really going to suck if you let me drop. So, I want to illustrate a point here, that we are all in this together. All right, everyone get shoulder to shoulder. We're all in this together. And have your hands forward, because we are each here to serve. We are each here to serve. We're all together as one body. I can't do this alone. Medora, Cindy, staff, Heidi, volunteers, we can't all do this alone. We all need each other. You ready to catch me, Gloria? So I'm going to fall. Oh, step up. Okay, we're going to make it even better. We might even start body surfing. Okay. All right, so as I fall back, this represents that I can do nothing without your support. You know, there's a passage of Scripture where, and as a kid, this didn't make sense to me, where it says of Jesus, he could not perform many miracles or healings there because of their lack of faith. And I thought, he's Jesus, what? But it was because they did not stand together. I can't do anything without your support, without all of us standing together. So I'm gonna trust you here. All right, I'm in your hands. I'm surrendering. Are we ready?
We're ready.
No?
Take the plunge, Tim.
Okay, here we go. Oh, wow. Thank you. Are you still there, Gloria? All right. Thank you. Oh, before you sit down, I really believe in social media and marketing. And so I'm going to take a picture of this. Are you all okay with that? Because if you are one of these people who likes to use the phone and likes to be on social media, feel free during the services to post people and say, you should be here. Yeah? I love you all so much already. As I see us all united together, I have absolute faith that working together as a team, we can accomplish anything. Thank you.